management. Planning the session. So this time I thought of developing how I work. Plan. And then after going through that plan, I might have 4 hours to spend here until 3 p.m. What else will I do? Probably I will continue the learning Finnish law system, then start learning news, meaning I want to go through different Finnish newspapers, media, and understand what's there, because I have never really followed it that much, because for my project I need that sort of information. And then possibly develop AI, no wait, programming setup. I would like to initialize the coding better, at least, and start creating a plan on what I should prioritize. But these two are the priorities here. Now, yeah, if I have time, I might spend the whole time just doing this. It's quite a large topic. So this will be skills and knowledge, I guess, yeah. My work is... Okay. What do I mean by this? Yesterday was the first day in some time when I successfully managed to schedule the whole day. I had a plan on what to do when I wake up, and then I planned the day and it went accordingly, or according to that plan. Very, very good. But at the end of the day, when I went to sleep around 12:30 a.m., I was not tired at all. And why was that? Because I didn't use my brain. I didn't go outside yesterday. I didn't exercise. So I had just excess energy. So I realized, obviously, that I have room to develop further. Clearly, just scheduling is not enough. But let me see. So there are AI out programming research tools website. Self-development I don't see here. Let's create it. Self-development and new node. Just have a shortcut. Doesn't seem like it. Let's start with this. I can always create new pages. Okay. And I should probably close this. It's not very necessary. How does this? Yeah, that's fine. For this, I will not start a timer, or should I? No, I think, yeah, it's not that important. The timer often is very good to keep track on the schedule and make sure that I am productive and not waste too much time on something, but in this case, there is really no danger in that. How I stream. How I'm currently streaming and doing these videos or lives, which will be turned into videos, is I yap too much. I analyzed yesterday's work where I went through this, and what was the value I created from that 3 hours roughly that I spent on this? How much did I learn, or what was the goal that I wanted to get? It was unclear, and the value was between me learning and me trying to teach no one, because no one is watching this live, and I assume very few will ever watch this afterwards, because I will make so many of them and it's not very interesting. They could learn this in a better way. So it was unclear what was the actual point. So first development area is I want to change. Don't focus on talking or teaching. Let's say focus less. Meaning that I can do half an hour of no talking, nothing. It's fine, because in the end, the goal is to envision the future possible collaboration platform network. And there is no reason why not to stream, because for me this is easy and I get ideas from this and so on. I want to explore transparent work. But right now it's December 10th. I'm in a point where I really should start looking for a job. I have kind of finished my studies, even though I didn't graduate, they're over pretty much. And I'm now starting my life work properly. Which means I have a lot to do, a lot to discuss, discover, and develop. And this focus on the stream, its quality is very little. So try to keep that short. That was that change. So from this moment on, I will try to speed up my work and not think about the stream. Of course, if someone were to come here and would want to chat or ask something, I would focus on that, but it hasn't happened properly, at least yet. So that will, yeah, I'll have to wait when that happens, if that happens. What else? How I learn. How do I learn? From yesterday's example, if I had to now write down what I have learned, and as an exercise, I actually might do this. So what did I learn yesterday? My first feeling is that I don't know. This would be my answer. If someone asks, what did I learn yesterday? I don't know. So automatic reaction, bad answer, but this is very common for many people. If they really don't know, that this is safe answer, but it's not true, of course. So in reality, what did I learn? Okay, I learned that, at least it was this in Finnish, means uses laws to create some, or based on laws, some wannabe law, I don't know, something like that. I learned that act is this law in, or this in Finnish. This was decree. Then I learned that is in Finnish, määräys is doesn't or can't be found on Finland. So this I knew. Now know that, okay, this sort of more specific field, well, let's say specific rules, let's say, like custom. Just quickly. What else? The feeling also is I don't know, even though I know something, and I don't want to teach this. I don't know. I don't want to tell. Okay. What else? Anything? What did I learn yesterday? What did I learn? Well, I learned that many other statue, I think it's just statue type can't be found. So this also some examples. The for example, that honorary change or change to the some honorary not act. No, it was decree, yeah. Giving medals or similar. But this was just a quick example, not important here or to even document. But this is a problem. So I don't have a clear enough goal when trying to learn. What am I actually learning? Why? I go too deep into the topic without coming back. Meaning that I might have some idea that, hey, I want to learn how this is how the system works. And I go here, but instead of asking that question again, kind of getting the first initial glance and then asking another question, I started to wonder or look around, try to see some safe way to get to understand this. And in that moment, I lose control. So what's the change? Be real this time. Let's do deja vu. What change is create, or instead of focusing on primarily on the topic itself, focus on the learning, focus on the control. Meaning that the primary focus is on trying to learn the correct way. For example, here, what is my goal? My goal is to understand how all of this works, okay? And then what is the method? I clearly, or what are sub goals? Maybe I want to learn or find material that explains this. I'm looking for it. So acknowledging that I'm looking for something to teach. Or maybe the process might be that, hey, with a quick glance, do I understand? If I don't understand something, point it out. Because even if I don't say it out loud, I don't make it very clear in my head that this is not clear. I might have a feeling that, hey, this is uncomfortable to look at because I don't understand everything here, but I don't specify it. And that's very crucial, because then if I know what I don't know, what's unclear, I can ask myself, or I can go to AI and ask. So instead, doing that instead of what I did yesterday, which was I went too deep. I started to read and kind of browse this without any proper goal or pressure that, hey, maybe I should spend half an hour trying to quickly get a glance, get understanding. This might be just this represents kind of every new learning task. Maybe in my future job, I'm tasked to find out some capabilities of some technology. And I'm given like, hey, is 2 hours enough? If I were to work like I did yesterday, I couldn't do that efficiently. And clearly I can't even say what I learned. So have a better focus on the control. This I can develop further while I I'll actually start doing. But although, okay, large plan goal, and then sub goals. First glance, ask questions. No, wait, sub goals. Maybe this will. How do I reach the goal? So when I open the website, hey, I'm looking for something to get me, or yeah, I'm looking for something specific, not just this has been my goal, just to get here to this website. That was kind of my mindset yesterday. Because comparing to what I have done before, this is huge. Before I couldn't even get this far. I was for years kind of just trying to develop myself to this point that I can even start working. All right. Then fine and technique, meaning can I teach what I just learned? If I can't teach it, if I can't explain it, write it down, do I really even know? And it might be that the only thing I'm looking for is just an idea, just a small feeling that, okay, I now have a feeling of how to navigate this. But let's say here, do I know what this means? Before opening this, do I know why this is here? If this wasn't here on this website, do I feel like something would be missing? No, I have no idea. Or, okay, I have some idea, of course, because it says here court rule or court ruling something. So yes, it was that. But if this wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be looking for it. At least at some time. Maybe at some point I would realize, wait, shouldn't this be here as well? But that's an example. This is very important because that proves to me if I actually know it. And Feynman technique in a way that create a scenario where someone asks or expects so instead of just asking myself in a casual setting, like, hey, do I know this? Yeah, I know. I have used that in high school and before to learn a subject, just browsing and kind of asking questions, but not really. Instead, I should create a scenario that imagine myself into a situation where someone actually asks, and I'm feeling pressure that, hey, now I need to say at least something. I can't keep quiet. So do I say I don't know, or what do I say? it's very easy to just avoid thinking about this, and stay on that comfortable area where I know something about it, I have a feeling about it, but yeah, if I don't make it real, it means I haven't really learned it. And this goes to Chinese as well. So yesterday what I did was I went to that Chinese learning game. It was fine, kind of. I'm not sure how much time I spent on it. Was it 20 minutes? Because that, thinking about it, 5 minutes should have been enough for what I got from it. But for learning languages, this is even more important than learning. Well, maybe they are equally important, but why many people don't actually learn a language well is because they don't create those scenarios. They don't get the feeling, which is natural feeling, that, hey, I need to answer now. The other one is waiting. It's going to become uncomfortable if I don't answer it in a second or two. So the best way to learn a language is to need to speak that language to a real person. But for most, that's not really accessible. So what they do instead is they read books, try to learn from videos, but that doesn't have the important element, which is that natural feeling, because brain is lazy. It doesn't want to learn a new language if I don't need it. But brain is also stupid that it doesn't, or not stupid, but the brain doesn't care if the scenario actually happens or not. So at least I can pretty well imagine a situation where I'm with a Chinese person, they don't know English. How do I communicate that I want 3 tomatoes? I could say 我喜欢 sun, and now does the tomato word come out? No. So that's a problem. Here I faced a problem that in many cases, because I'm used to people talking English. So all the Chinese people I know can talk at least some English. So in that situation, I would say it in English. But that's wrong. And that's one reason why many don't get past the point where they know a lot of words in some language. They know how to say some sentences, but they're not fluent. So they might be able to start a sentence, but then what they do is they compensate. They use English instead. That, hey, okay, I don't know this word, so it's too difficult. I will just say this in English. The brain optimizes that. And that's the case also for me. For some time, a few years ago, I noticed this, that when I started to record myself talking, that even in Finnish, I was using a lot of English terms or English words, because I was used to, well, in general, not talk that much, but just use English and Finnish both, and I would learn some new term or concept just in English. I wouldn't even know the Finnish equivalent, or other way, of course. There are a lot of words that I know in Finnish but not in English. And when I started to talk, I would notice that because there wasn't any pressure for anyone who would understand only Finnish or only English, I would speak Finglish, which is a combination that many words that I would just say in English. I still do that, but I started to notice it pretty well, and then decided to either use English or Finnish. But here on this stream, there are many cases, and will be, where I just need to translate. But it's important to notice that that's the first step, noticing it, being aware of it and seeing it as a problem, and then slowly make it go away. And I have kind of succeeded here, I think. But yes, for Chinese, that's very important, and or any language, that think about myself into the situation, and if it doesn't come like from a shelf in this casual setting, when I'm fully kind of focused on that, it doesn't come when I am actually on a store and I would like to get 3 tomatoes. So how this Feynman technique, or how this idea works, is I go here, I learn something, I try to teach it, I fail. I go against the wall and clearly I didn't know. Okay, then do it again. What was it? And this time I have already a sense that I need this for something. I was tasked to say this aloud or teach it to someone, but I wasn't able to. So with this in mind, now I want to relearn it again. And the hope is that at some point that will become so natural that I'll do that subconsciously the first time I read anything, that I'm prepared to actually share my knowledge. And this concept in general, for me specifically, is very difficult, because for my whole life I have been on the background, and I have multiple siblings, cousins, and I have been the one who hasn't needed to talk or share ideas. I hate facts, or I don't care about knowing facts, because there hasn't been many moments in my life where that has mattered. That do I actually know specifically something? No, it hasn't mattered. So that's why I might I don't think I will struggle with this, but it's a new thing for me. Learning in a mindset that I would use this for something. And Also, one mindset is, or what I discovered from analyzing yesterday's session, that I go into this sort of slave mode or worker mode, that even when I have decided to learn to do this, the way I go to do about it is I'm waiting until it finishes. I'm doing only the minimum amount. But that doesn't make any sense. But that's because humans are capable of going into a role and then going into another role which has different mindset. For example, how I would be with my family members that I have lived my whole life with. I'm different compared to if I now met new people. I could have another personality or different personality. And when meeting old schoolmates that we haven't met or haven't seen each other for years, we all go back into that time or that personality that we were when we were 14 or so. So there is a lot to change about that area. Instead of mindset from to the minimum represents also killing time. That what's really happening is that I'm doing something, some work, but I'm waiting. My mindset is, okay, I'm now doing this, but I don't want to do this. I'm waiting for something. So I'm killing time. Who am I waiting? Or what am I waiting? What am I waiting for? No. And this question I have asked many times in the last few years, that what am I actually waiting? And the one answer has been that I'm waiting to die. Sounds maybe a bit strong, but that has been my mindset, that I wouldn't, or I haven't felt that I would never finish my studies, which of course I didn't, but I also kind of did. I thought that I wouldn't live past 25. I thought maybe, or it just felt like I wouldn't make it, that I don't have to think about my 30s, my 40s, or ever retiring, because I'm not living then. when thinking about history, I would imagine myself being a soldier and dying in some meaningless war. So this has been kind of the way I have lived, or with this mindset. And whenever I now kind of notice that, hey, I'm waiting, I realize, hey, this is the same. I'm kind of waiting to die again. And when I realize this, I get bored. Like, okay, this was, or I realized, wait, was this really what I was doing? So it feels natural. It feels kind of, well, good. I don't know. In subconscious level, I have a strong habit of that, doing waiting. And for humans, it's, well, very logical why it would be normal, common. People wait. People are used to following orders and not give them. But because I have already realized this reality, created my own philosophy that works, and build motivation on top of it, this doesn't make much sense once I realize that I'm waiting. But as I said, yesterday was the first time in a long time when I successfully managed to schedule the day and do that schedule. It means that I haven't been in this situation where I could be focusing on the actual work, the sessions themselves, and not managing the sessions or what sessions to do. So no worries, I haven't even tried to change this. So I might as well just keep it as this, I think. Okay, wait. What will this in reality look like? I think for now, it's okay to just have it here to analyze afterwards. Have I waited? Why? And then look for opportunities to change it. Right now, it's kind of difficult to analyze because I haven't had this on. It's like testing some software without having the testing program on, logging every change or every action. So now this is sort of like putting that on, enabling it, so that I can later or afterwards look the data and see what I can change. All right, how I learn. Next, I could talk about IRAC. IRAC. IRAC, to recap, is a visual structure inside my head that I use to build knowledge and to easier create higher level thoughts and to remember better. I will just put it here because, well, at least before I make a video about that concept, it's impossible for anyone to understand. That's just, yeah, a recap. Have I used iRack and how much? It has been a difficult tool. There are times when it's easier to use, and then yesterday and today hasn't been that easy. I forget to use it. When learning, can I learn without iRack? Yes. I can do everything. I can live my whole life without ever developing iRack further. This I realized many years ago, that I am smart enough to be on this software development field and get a good job and everything. Think about philosophy, psychology, and do my life work even. But iRack enables much greater creativity and it has a lot of potential. I'm not sure how much, because the only way to really know is to use it, build it, but there are, at the moment at least, many things I know already that I can develop and increase my productivity value a lot. This is one of the main things, that it requires consciousness. How high consciousness? That depends. If I have forgotten to use it and then realize, hey, I need to use iRack, just opening it or starting it requires quite a lot. And then if I do something there, some completely new area, or do organization, which means trying to remember, hey, how this structure looked like, it kind of raises the consciousness level. And it's, well, energy consuming. And because it is a different, completely different mindset, completely different way to think. How I think normally is reactive. It's natural. I don't think about thinking. But when I use iRack, at least at this stage, I need to think about iRack to use it. But then when I use it, I might visualize dots, visualize information, symbols and such. When I look at that, when I have opened iRack, imagine it, then how I really think is the natural way. So it's not either, or it's not that it's either natural thinking or IRAC. It's always natural thinking, but with IRAC it's just that's an extra, and it takes extra energy to just keep it on and then try to use it to think just higher level thoughts. But it will create a lot of power and possibilities. You can think of it as a car. Of course, humans are capable of running, walking, but how efficiently or how quickly, let's say, maybe it is quite efficient, of course, but how fast, how far in a day? A car needs extra fuel to run, to work. This is similar. In some sense, of course, in this case, the fuel that I use to run my body, I use the same fuel. Like imagine driving a car and it depletes your energy. So there would be a need to eat a lot during the drive and before it, just to continue moving. But this is one of the main reasons why I don't use it. I just forget it exists. I go into the flow state, and what I said before, that just start, or there are different mindsets and roles, sort of, that when I have in the past opened this sort of website, my mind goes into certain state. Even if I have developed IRAC and try to get this to use, when, or in the mindset when I have used this, or the mindset, yeah, that has been very casual. It has been this development mindset that I have currently, and that I have used to do those 4,000 hours of footage. I have developed a lot, thought about a lot in a very high conscious state compared to when I have actually tried to do something productive. So it doesn't transfer automatically. So this is one point, what to change. Another is how much energy it consumes. In other words, how difficult it feels. A week or two ago, I think it was two weeks ago, when I ended the thesis, I talked about my goals, what I would be focusing on next, and one of them has been higher productivity sessions, and especially thinking sessions. For me, that includes IRAC every time, because it is the best way I can think. And what I said was, I would like to, or that there are maybe, let's say, four times a day that I can push myself, train like I would physically, and then rest some time, and then do it again. So in intervals. Yesterday I didn't do this once. And the point, or the goal is to get to a point where it feels difficult, that I feel that I'm getting very tired, and then stop. One example of this could be in 10 minutes, create a speech. "10 minutes, create a speech." How quickly am I able to do that using iRack? So visualizing. And it should feel difficult. If it's not, I should increase the speed, tempo of my thoughts. What else? When I control my learning, what I would like to do is use iRack. So be in a mindset that includes this, and then focus on learning, getting information, and testing it by this. Can I teach it? That's a test. Would I be able to answer in a scenario? That's a test. I have done too much development in a way that, well, I haven't tested it in a safe environment. So that needs to end. What else? How I stream, how I learn, AI. How, okay, this kind of goes to learning, but well, iRack goes there as well. So how do I use AI currently? Although, wait. Yeah, so this is important when asking questions. For example, yesterday, do I even want to be on this site, or try to find information from this site? Should I use AI? Should I go into internet and try to find information about, well, all of this right away? And that was kind of where I left off. I asked, hey, are these types, how are these in other places than Finland? Because if I could learn, maybe there isn't learning material about this in Finnish, but there might be in English. So it's worth doing research. So I went way too deep and decided to use these sites or Parliament site without first kind of doing that level of research and try to find other sources. Why did I choose this? One of the main reasons was that I wanted to test also these sites' ability to teach, but retrospectively it wasn't the right move. But I thought maybe that they could teach more, so I assumed, but I should have just went straight, use the search engines, try to find material, use AI also to try to find other sources, and if I can't find, then use AI to learn. And how do I use AI? I have Gemini open here, and this was where I left off. I haven't read this. How do I use this? I have Firefox window, separate profile for it, and I use Gemini. There are different tabs on the side and conversation threads. I can ask questions, I can create here. Well, now I got to the next point where do I use all these effectively? In a similar manner, I chose these websites trying to learn about Finnish political system. Was this the right way? Or maybe I should have searched before choosing anything. I should have tried to search other alternatives. Similar situation here. Why do I use Gemini? I have paid for this because I wanted to get 2 terabytes of cloud storage. I thought, and I was already using Gemini, it was okay. I felt, hey, let's buy. So I bought 1 year worth of Copilot or Google, what is it? Google AI Pro subscription. So I kind of I'm not just used to using this, but should I continue this way? No, of course not. I should be developing, at least on idea level, what could I think at the moment being the ultimate way to leverage AI also in the future. So without knowing all the tools, what's possible now, just envisioning AI. I have done that already, but haven't written it down, I think, and haven't really talked about it. So similarly than before, I might not be able to kind of explain or easily teach my own findings, but this is very important thing, that if I could, or how would I want to use AI? And taking as an example here, how would I want to use AI in this case? I would like to use it that I read this. Okay, what does this mean? get AI response, and there are already ways currently. Wait, well, this is a good example. I haven't researched this, but I have known that every browser nowadays has the AI integrated. But I would like to know what does this is. Why is it here? What is this? Or here, okay, what are different of these, or anything here. And then I want to learn bigger concepts, so not just one. Let me write it here. Or maybe I could AI code strength. Okay, first I will write it. I can always transfer it words. Asking about anything and asking about any topic. Well, okay, anything in a separate. It needs to be a separate window, like I have here. Nothing else should be here than this, which is good. Okay. And then ask about window where the conversations are saved. I want to be able to go back to that, have different areas, which I have here. It's not finished, but I will continue changing these categories, but still this is important. Although let's make it that way. Conversations are saved. And the second one is ask quick questions where I don't. Quick questions, yeah, where I don't care about the history. Like here, I want to know this. I don't care about it being stored somewhere that I asked. Of course, it would be nice, but I don't mind kind of Googling it, searching it again. If I ask what this is and I don't make notes about it, about the answer, then I'm just stupid. So there, yeah. But this is larger, this is smaller. Here, one criteria I would like to have is no difficulties navigating. Right now, this is a browser window. I can do this here, anything here. I can do this, and right now, can I go here and then go back and start writing? What is the easiest way to scroll or navigate this? Because it's a website and it's supposed to be used with a mouse. It's visual, it's bad. So right away, browser is bad. What could be best is CLI. And I already know that there are solutions for this, but I haven't, well, had time to do this. But I would like to have this. So window, which is like command prompt, or actually terminal is better, but terminal. And here, ask questions. If I go away, I come back, I can continue writing. It's not difficult to navigate this because I don't like using the mouse, mainly because of my setup, that I have to reach forward. It's not that ergonomic, but also just using keyboard all the time. I also use keyboard for navigating. Right now I'm using the Vimium to navigate this page, which I don't think, I didn't use before or yesterday, but it's fine. So no difficulties navigating, always goes back to I don't know how to say that. So this is one important thing, and I know there's a solution for this. I don't know if it will cost me something, but this I want. Separate window needs to be open at all times. I want this to be open at all times. Even when I ask quick questions, open or use sep from So this needs to be separate. Right now, I feel uncomfortable just opening Gemini because, well, first of all, I need to click here. Navigating this, I don't have Vimium here, is not a pleasant experience. And second of all, if I want to ask quick questions, I don't want to waste this space, although I could delete these answers. Maybe. Can I delete this? Yeah, here. I could delete. No. Wait, I can't even delete this. Yeah, that's a problem then. I thought I could delete them, but apparently not. Double check. Stable double check this also. No. Let's. That's fine. But yeah, I feel uncomfortable opening different, going away from this main thread that I currently have on to ask about some term. Although, okay, it's not important to store this. So having at least two AI and one separate window, and the other one could be integrated, but now when I think about it, no, I don't even want that. In the perfect scenario, also a step. The perfect scenario, I could just screenshot this, send it to AI, what is this? And Copilot, or Microsoft, is trying to push Copilot in Windows 11. And in some way, that could be useful. Of course, it doesn't work, and it's a huge vulnerability problem, but in the perfect world, I understand the point that what if I had, so the ultimate way, asking in a separate window and then having a constant conversation on. Especially in my case, I already talk while I work. Well, okay, I don't talk when I'm not recording, but because I am very often. Yeah, in similar manner, I am envisioning a world where there is an AI bot that I'm having conversation with, that I can just wonder, wait, what is this? What is this? And I get the answer. That, okay, I ask more questions. In this case, I asked, hey, what is this? I sent the screenshot. What is this? And I get the answer in this way. This is very bad. I don't like this. I have to scroll. The feeling of this is terrible. And already in today's technology, it could be improved a lot. So I could just ask, hey, what is this? Without needing to take screenshot, sending or changing the window. So the Microsoft's solution, that it would know the context in this sort of way, I see it very helpful. If it works, I'm not convinced that it will in a long time, because they are kind of trying, they need to consider a lot. But just asking very small things, maybe, okay, how would I say this in English? What was the, so this is momentti in Finnish. What is it in English? And in a few seconds or 2 seconds, I get the answer. I could ask next thing. Maybe I could, and I could say, hey, what was my plan for this session? It will show here or here. And then I look at it. Okay. So maybe, can I visualize this? Well, yeah, maybe this is it. So it will pop up window saying, this was your plan, which I have here. And then maybe also it could use, well, I'm now using a headset that doesn't have eye tracking, but in the future I would like to have a headset where there's eye tracking, so it can also see what I see or what I look at. So it sees the context I'm now reading this. And then so it knows what I'm planning on doing. And the more I learn, the more it the more I use it, the more it understands what I already know. And then I could ask, hey, do a quiz. I want to gamify. So what was the Chinese? Let's see if I can find it quickly here. Didn't I use Firefox? I'm not seeing it. Oh, I don't think it was this. Prove Chinese. Ah, a Chinese game. Okay. So I press there. So I want to have a quiz. What is this? Isn't that the symbol for woman? Oh, can't be. Looks a bit similar. No, it's not. Is that daughter female? No, it's not. Yeah, well, actually, it kind of looks like. Okay, anyways. A small quiz. Hey, I want to have a quiz. That I say to AI that you know what I have been trying to learn and what I have learned. Make a quiz. Let's do role play. You are a client, so I have also set that to my goals, or to specify that maybe I want to have a conversation with future clients or collaborators, that AI could know different sort of people. It could create personas, and let's role play. We are in this sort of scenario. I come to you and say, hi, how are you? And I'm interested in this sort of topic, and then start a conversation. And in that conversation, I would need to maybe, well, the aim would be to tell about this thing I have learned. That's something that's already almost possible, I feel nowadays, but it's all about integrating. And this I have felt for a long time, that the AI capabilities are there already. I can learn pretty, this another example, pretty well by just asking AI questions. I couldn't find easy answers to many of these from this side, from any side. I went to AI and it gave me some answers. And I said this yesterday, I don't even mind if 10% is wrong that it says. It doesn't matter, because if it makes sense, that's what I'm trying to get, and I can always correct. The point right now is to get to work with people, and there I hope I will, or they will correct me. But yeah, this is another example of going back here to Gemini. It suddenly jumped back on top, so I need to scroll all the way back down. Terrible experience. It wastes so much time, and the integration is not there. But in a perfect setting, which already is quite possible to create, this is possible. This is possible. This is possible. And this, I'm not sure how much resources it would take, but this will increase learning a lot. And I mean a lot. Question is the resources. And then privacy could be an issue for me. Well, right now, yes, my PC system is not ready for this. There are many things here. I have photos, information about others that I have no right to share. Many of them, yeah, it wouldn't matter at all, but just I don't have the right. I will try to build a system, a profile in a way that there's nothing there I couldn't show. But currently, at least, that's not the case, and also in AI. I don't want AI to get other people's information other than me. But my life is and will be very open. I don't mind myself. If it increases my learning, that is a huge win. Having a constant conversation. This is my go-to, and maybe I have talked about this, but I really believe that AI companions and assistants are a huge thing in the future. Even in my kind of utopia future, there are AI assistants, or AI will be a huge thing, but in my perfect world, democracy systems would control it. That if AI would kind of pose a threat, that it's very easy for people or large groups to influence how or what will be done with it. But AI will be there. I don't think the democracy is very easy to build without it, or at least AI would make it much easier. My case, for example, I learn much better with AI. So would others, and the customizable is a huge thing. My perfect life, if I didn't need to worry about or care about humanity, democracy, just the system not being there, right? I wouldn't use AI probably. Where would I need it? Well, actually no, I think I would use in the future, because now AI is a thing. If it wasn't a thing, I wouldn't miss it, but now that it is a thing, I would still use it, yes. That example I gave yesterday, that if I decided to go off the grid for 5 years without knowing anything and then come back, I would like to, well, get information and know what has happened. And AI is a huge plus there, because it can give me customized feed and knowledge. I can ask more So it's the fastest and most or the easiest way. But yeah, in that case, I would use it at least. And in productivity sense, if I wanted to be involved in some engineering project, if I was interested to explore the space, so create spacecrafts or do any sort of collaboration through internet, and not just focus on creating art or gathering my garden, then a AI assistant is quite natural thing for me, and in my visions for even the best possible future, people will have these AI assistants. Is it at least available? I would assume there would be huge number of communities wanting to get off the grid and especially just off the AI. But the possibilities of it, for example, I could say that I would like to meet, I would like to get new friends, to have a conversation, go to the wilderness, travel, have a beer, and I could say this to my AI assistant, and they could be integrated into some system where there is anonymous conversation going on between AI assistants, and some potential friend could have an AI assistant, and kind of our assistants find each other, and then without me ever knowing who the other person is, the AI assistant could or their AI assistant will ask if they would be interested. And meeting someone just by talking to my AI assistant for 10 seconds, and then having half an hour later being in a bar in a 10 million people city with someone who actually think or is very similar or have similar interests than me. That's fully possible even today. But the biggest problems would be to create a safe system. Of course, in the EU, I don't think this would work in a long time, but the potential there is huge, and someone or many would be against this, that it should be up to fate. But for those who don't really believe in religion, fate, like me, I know nothing will, or that nothing will happen if I don't do, okay, something will happen, but it's maybe not best for me. In dating, you can't just wait, you have to act, or at least most will. And what's the point of dating? Do I want to use dating apps? Do I want it to be difficult? Should it be meant to be that it takes me 5 years to find a partner, and during that I find 2 partners that we have a bad breakup with? Would I rather just meet that person right away? and lose that magic of meeting on a bar. I don't believe in that stuff, and I would rather have 5 years with that person than relying on some fate. It's so boring and yeah, waste of time. So that's a little bit about that. But AI definitely, and right now I could improve my learning a lot just by using more AI. But the problems are the user experience, UI, and also my mindset that I go too deep into something without actually having a sense of, wait, what was the goal again? Not sure if I had something else here, but I will take a quick break. Back from the break. before I go forward to actually implementing this IRAC, I want to go over the idea that is there any reason ever not to open / use it? No, it's not /, wait. Wait, is that the /? It is /. Dash, okay, /dash. Too similar. This question, because I thought about that, hey, this is probably the most important right now. Make it comfortable to use AI tools because it directly helps learning. And I will eventually do this anyways. Why not do it right now? I can use the learning to learn AI tools, but I can't use the AI properly to learn anything else. But then I thought, okay, I can focus on this, but should I, what about this training the IRAC usage, doing intensive sessions? Should I do this before I go here? And I felt no. So let's think about this for a moment, and then I think I'm already at the point where I should probably do an intensive IRAC session and then start doing something productive, so develop. There are a lot of things here. I will not master them in one day, but it's very good that I now at least have this, and it's not on the large canvas. Yeah, I will work on that, organize it, and maybe separate things to other canvases. That's for another day. So is there any reason not to open or use it? So in general, I will now think about IRAC. How do I see it? How does it feel? The idea of it. It is kind of odd. I'm not sure how it is going, what is the goal, because in general, my life is pretty uncertain. So maybe the focus is on there and not IRAC. But of course, first I will feel tired. One argument against this, I would feel tired. Knowing this, can I fix it? So is there a way to fix this? Fix this, make it easier to use? And here the answer is maybe, because I have had experience when I felt that it was very tiring, but then I realized that, and I realized it was just some subconscious side of my mind trying to force me not to use it, but it was a bluff. I realized it was tiring because I didn't know what to do. It was almost like pressing the gas pedal on a car and having brakes on. It felt wrong. I wasn't moving, but I was consuming energy. And my brain gets the signal that, hey, this is something you shouldn't do. So that has been one reason, that instead of using IRAC for something, I have just been focusing on opening IRAC and keeping it open. I think I covered this now that I'm thinking about it. No categories, it was somewhere here. What is the order or using IRAC process? Process to think, be happy, be aware of the surroundings and inner voices, activate IRAC, deactivate IRAC. Change needs to once, lock on the option back on stage 1, build to the IRAC. So this point here is important, that I shouldn't be focusing on that, hey, now I need to use IRAC. No. I'm using that for something. So being able to open it, close it, and then not get into this trap by thinking about plans, sub-goals, asking questions. So there is a way to use it and not feel tired. If I'm interested of what I'm building there, why am I using it, then it's not tiring. What could be a reason to use it that I can always use? This is an interesting question that I try to think before starting to properly build the IRAC. Before that, almost 4 years ago, I started to think about mind tools, which later I combined into the mind's memory structure to build the mind temple at a time, but then it became IRAC, or its name became IRAC. I tried to think about having a sort of hallway where I could always come and then get direction what to do next. Spawning point, that there would be a spawning point in IRAC, one central place that I go and then go from there somewhere, whatever I want to do. But it hasn't been easy. Then I think my mind about this has changed over the years. Now this is almost I have had over 10 versions of Iraq, so every time I create a new one, maybe it doesn't have a landing page place, and even this version is like third iteration of this version of Iraq. I'm just guessing here, but somewhere along those lines. But the important thing to notice here is if I ask this question and I don't have a subconscious clear answer, I don't have a feeling that I have an answer for this, that means it's not working. So on subconscious level, I don't feel like I could open IR all the time. So I'm not in control. And I should fix that. Yeah, now shouldn't take too long. Let me see. So what could be I have used schedule as the first kind of landing point, that there would be always need to open the schedule. If I'm confused what to do, open the schedule, look up what's next, think about what's next, or plan. But that's not very good, because thinking about schedule makes me go into work mode, and it doesn't feel like I'm living all the wait, no. I think about it. Can I change it? Can I change how I think of it? I'm actually feeling tired now. I could take a nap, then eat. Yeah, I feel that my mind is tired. I have slept little, or less than 7 hours. It's quite common that I need to take a nap, or then anyways sleep in 2 segments. My body likes to go into multi-phased sleep. What was it called? Something like that. That I might go, if I go to sleep around 11 p.m., I might wake up at 5 or 4. So having slept 5 or 6 hours, and then I feel completely or almost full of energy, but there is some tiredness. But I can think properly, my eyes just pop open, I'm awake, and then 2 or 3 hours later I get tired again, then go back to sleep and sleep another 2 hours. That is sort of a natural cycle for my body that I have noticed. But if I go after 12 a.m., after midnight to sleep, I am able to sleep 8 hours or even 9 hours. But this segmented sleep happens mostly if I go to sleep too early. I'm not sure how that is, how the body knows, because it's not about the brightness of outside, because here in Finland right now sun rises 9:30 something. But that means that I am kind of tired. I have a schedule at 4. I will eat before that. I will end this here and I will continue thinking about this. I'm not sure. I don't think I will. Yeah, I'm not going to start another stream. But I have a pretty good idea now that, hey, let's use IRAC more, focus on learning and focus on or creating a better AI system. And of course this is the easiest one. Okay, nice. The plan was develop our work, didn't get to do this, so let's remove it. But it's fine. Okay. Developing how I work. I could put here, yes, these subcategories. How I stream, how I learn, RAC and AI. Whoop. Ah. Okay, and the thumbnail. I don't care about that right now. Nice.